Animation studios have budgets limits on what they can do, constraints that keep them grounded. But every once in a while, the animators say forget it and go absolutely crazy. These are the moments where it feels like someone accidentally gave the animation team unlimited resources and they decided to flex every skill they have. The sakuga is off the charts, the choreography is flawless, and every frame looks like it costs more than most episodes combined, from fluid motion that defies physics to lighting effects that make your screen glow. These are the fights where studios clearly said budget, what budget? So buckle up, because we're counting down the top 10 times animators forgot their budget. Number 10, we're kicking this list off with Deku versus Overhaul from My Hero Academia, and this fight is the definition of a devastating beatdown after everything Overhaul did to Eri. After experimenting on a child and showing zero remorse, Deku finally gets his hands on him, and what follows is pure unfiltered heroic rage. Deku activates 100% full cowl, channeling Eri's power to push 1-4. All beyond any limit he's reached before. The animation during this fight is absolutely insane, with Deku's movements creating shockwaves that shake the entire battlefield. Overhaul fuses with his subordinate, becoming this massive, grotesque monster, thinking his size and power will overwhelm this kid. But Deku isn't intimidated, he's furious. Every punch Deku throws carries the weight of everyone. Overhaul hurt, every kick sends this villain flying through buildings like he weighs nothing, the way the camera follows Deku as he spirals through the air, building up momentum for that final devastating punch, is cinematic perfection. At number 9, we have Mob vs. Toichiro from Mob Psycho 100 Season 2, and this fight is a visual masterpiece that proves what happens when animators decide to throw everything at the screen. Toichiro is this ridiculously overpowered Esper who's been absorbing energy for years, building up to the point where he thinks he's unstoppable. When he finally unleashes his full power against Mob, the entire building starts collapsing around them and the animation goes absolutely insane. Studio Bones clearly gave their team free reign, because every frame of this fight is packed with detail. The psychic powers aren't just colorful effects, they're these massive explosions of energy that warp reality itself. Toichiro's attacks come in waves of different colors, each one more devastating than the last, while Mob counters with his signature simple but overwhelmingly powerful style. What makes this fight so memorable is how the animation conveys raw power. The screen is constantly filled with particle effects, lighting changes, and environmental destruction that never stops escalating. Buildings crumble, the sky changes colors, and both fighters are throwing around energy that should probably destroy the entire city. When you feel like you're all alone, you're so disconnected, so follow the hole. I'm so addicted now to the world within. Now you see. Number 8 is Shinra vs. Captain Burns from Fire Force, and this fight literally sets the screen on fire. Shinra's lightning-fast kicks against Burns' overwhelming crushing power creates this perfect storm of chaos and emotion. What elevates this beyond just a cool fight is the history between them. Shinra is fighting someone he once respected, someone who represents the Fire Force he joined, and that emotional weight makes every clash hit different. The animation quality here is absolutely insane. Every flame is animated with incredible detail. Every kick Shinra throws leaves trails of fire, and every impact from Burns feels like it could level buildings. The speed of Shinra's movements contrasted with Burns' raw power creates this beautiful rhythm where you're constantly shifting between fast and heavy. The choreography shows both fighters at their absolute best, with neither one holding back. Burns isn't just some obstacle, he's a legitimate threat, and Shinra has to push himself beyond his limits to keep up. The way the fire interacts with the environment, the way both fighters use their abilities creatively, and the constant escalation of intensity makes this one of the standout fights of the year.
Accelerating from that position? Then show me that you can blow everything away!
Once I begin to accelerate, no one can stop me! No matter what kind of massive fire this world tries to start!
Number 7, we have Sukuna versus Jogo from Jujutsu Kaisen, and this fight is an absolute masterclass in domination. Jogo is a special grade cursed spirit who's been destroying sorcerers throughout the series and genuinely believes he's one of the strongest curses alive. He's got devastating fire-based techniques, can summon meteors, and has enough power to fight multiple grade 1 sorcerers at once when he faces. Sukuna, after the King of Curses takes over Yuji's body, Jogo is actually confident he's seen powerful sorcerers before and thinks his cursed techniques give him a legitimate chance, but Jogo has absolutely no idea what he's dealing with. The moment the fight actually starts, Sukuna shows exactly why he's called the King of Curses. Jogo throws his strongest attacks at him, meteor strikes, domain expansion, everything in his arsenal, and Sukuna just stands there casually tanking hits like they're nothing. He's not even dodging, he's just letting Jogo exhaust himself while providing commentary on his techniques.
I knew he was... But not to such a great extent!
Number 6 is Okaran versus Evil Eye from Dandaden, and this fight is straight up chaos in the best way possible. Evil Eye's purple aura completely dominates the battlefield, creating this oppressive atmosphere. That makes you think Okaran doesn't stand a chance. But our protagonist doesn't back down, not even for a second. He goes all in, throwing everything he has at this overwhelming threat with zero hesitation. The animation during this sequence is absolutely insane, with the purple energy effects creating this supernatural horror atmosphere. Every moment keeps you on edge, wondering how Okaran can possibly win against something this powerful. What makes this fight work so well is Okaran's determination. He's outmatched, he knows it, and he fights anyway. Every strike he lands feels earned, every dodge feels desperate, and the constant back and forth between defense and offense creates incredible tension. The way the animators use color here is brilliant, with Okaran's more grounded tones constantly being overwhelmed by evil. Eye's supernatural purple creating this visual representation of the power difference. Evil Eye isn't just strong, they're presented as this almost eldritch horror that shouldn't be defeatable through normal means. Number 5, we have the absolutely insane team-up battle of Richter and Alucard versus Drolta from Castlevania Nocturne, and this fight is pure chaos from start to finish. Drolta's overwhelming power is shaking the entire battlefield, making it clear she's on a completely different level, but Richter and Alucard don't fight her head-on instead. They move like shadows, striking with precision and speed from angles. She doesn't expect. The choreography in this fight is phenomenal, with both heroes working in perfect sync. Every time Drolta focuses on one, the other strikes, creating this constant pressure that prevents her from using her full power. The animation team clearly studied how to make team fights work, because every movement flows naturally, nothing feels forced or choreographed in a bad way. Richter's Belmont techniques, combined with Alucard's supernatural abilities, create these beautiful combination attacks that hit like bombs. The color palette shifts between Richter's more traditional vampire hunter aesthetic and Alucard's darker gothic tones, while Drolta represents this overwhelming crimson threat. Number 4 is Sung Jin-woo versus the Ant King from Solo Leveling, and this fight showcases exactly why Jin-woo earned the title Shadow Monarch. The Ant King on Jeju Island is this massive S-rank monster that's been terrorizing Korea for years, killing high-level hunters and building an army that seemed unstoppable. When the raid finally happens and Jin-woo faces the Ant King, everyone expects a legendary battle between titans, but what we get instead is a complete and utter domination. The Ant King comes out confident, arrogant, believing no human could possibly threaten his reign. He's enormous powerful, with abilities that have slaughtered entire teams of elite hunters. But Jin-woo isn't just any hunter, he's something beyond human now. The moment the fight actually starts, the Ant King realizes he's made a terrible mistake. Jin-woo doesn't struggle. doesn't hesitate, he just systematically dismantles this creature that Korea's best hunters couldn't touch. The animation quality is movie tier with Jin Woo's daggers flashing in the darkness as he moves faster than the Ant King can track.
Speed that is equal to mine.
At number 3, we have the insane team-up of Sunraku and Saijiro Zero versus Lycagon, the Night Slayer from Shangri-La Frontier, and this fight is a masterclass in how to animate cooperation. Sunraku keeps Lycagon occupied with constant pressure while Saijiro Zero charges up what's clearly going to be a devastating finishing move. The animation during this sequence is absolutely wild, with the animators clearly flexing their skills. You can see every motion, every feint, every calculated risk Sunraku takes. To buy time, Lycagon the Night Slayer is no joke, either moving with supernatural speed and power that makes Sunraku's job incredibly difficult. What makes this so engaging is watching Sunraku's desperation as he tries to last long enough for Saijiro Zero's attack to charge. Every second feels like an eternity as he dodges blocks and barely survives hits that would end the fight instantly. The camera work emphasizes this tension with close-ups on Sunraku's face, showing his concentration while cutting. To Saijiro Zero's charging attack, building anticipation, and when Saijiro Zero finally unleashes that fully charged attack, the entire screen lights up like it's the finale of a fireworks show. The impact is devastating, the visual effects are spectacular, and the satisfaction of seeing this perfectly executed plan come together is incredible.
I got the ladder!
At number 2, we have Tanjiro and Ju versus Akaza from Demon Slayer, and this fight is an absolute masterpiece of animation and emotion. This is the rematch everyone waited for after Akaza killed Rengoku, and the emotional weight of that loss hangs over every frame. Tanjiro isn't just fighting to kill a demon. He's fighting to avenge the man who inspired him to keep going. Ju the water Hashira brings his own grief and determination, having lost people to demons throughout his life. The animation quality from Ufotable is insane, with every water-breathing technique and every flame-inspired move from Tanjiro rendered in stunning detail. Akaza is at his absolute peak, using his compass needle to predict every attack, moving with speed that makes him nearly impossible to hit. His martial arts techniques create shockwaves that tear through the environment, and his regeneration makes it seem like defeating him is impossible. What makes this fight so incredible is how Tanjiro and Ju work together. Their breathing styles complement each other, with water flowing into fire, creating combination attacks that push Akaza harder than he's been pushed in decades. Number 1, the most insane anime fight of 2025 is Zoro vs. Lucci from One Piece. In this fight is pure fire from start to finish. Lucci's incredible speed and deadly Rokushiki techniques push Zoro to his absolute limits, but our favorite swordsman doesn't back down for even a second. Every slash, every clash of Zoro's blades against Lucci's Tekai-enhanced body shakes the battlefield, and the tension keeps ratcheting up with each exchange. What elevates this to the number 1 spot is how perfectly it represents both characters. Lucci is at his peak, faster, more powerful, and more ruthless than ever, using his awakened Zoan form to its fullest potential. Zoro, meanwhile, is showcasing advanced haki, coating his blades in Conqueror's haki and unleashing techniques that would have been impossible earlier in the series. The animation quality is absurd, with Toei clearly putting their best team on this fight. Every frame is packed with detail, every movement flows naturally, and the impacts have real weight that makes you feel each clash, the way Zoro's three-sword style flows against Lucci's speed-based combat creates this beautiful, deadly dance where one mistake means death. The color palette of Zoro's green energy against Lucci's dark-spotted leopard form creates incredible visual contrast. The escalation is perfect, starting with probing attacks, building to full power techniques, and finally reaching this climax, where both fighters are giving absolutely everything. Lucci's awakened form provides raw power that pushes Zoro harder than we've seen in a long time, forcing him to evolve mid-battle end. That's the list, the top 10 most insane anime fights that 2025 has given us so far, from legendary veterans showing why they're still feared to newcomers proving they belong. Every fight on this list delivered something special, the animation quality across. The board has been incredible, showing that studios are pushing boundaries and giving fans exactly what they want. Which fight did you think was the most hype? Which moment had you rewinding just to see it again? Drop your picks in the comments because I want to hear what battles got you hyped. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we've got more anime content coming your way, covering everything from fights to character analysis. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.